How did Tony Robbins make millions from NLP? I'm an NLP practitioner. I trained in that, and I've also been to Tony Robbins Mastery University about 20 years ago, a long time ago now. And for years and years, I tried to model him and think, how did he do that? How did he, because there are tons and tons of us, right? Tons of NLP practitioners, hypnotherapists who don't ever get close to that, scraping $50 an hour if we're lucky, even today. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about the business side of what I think Tony Robbins did, and how you can model it too. So let's dive in. I'm just going to minimize me. It should be down in the bottom corner now. There I am. Right, so how to make millions of dollars with NLP. So modeling Tony Robbins. Now what I thought was, because I've been on his programs, I've been to his events, right? I went to America, London, I even went to Hawaii twice. Fantastic experience, no complaints, not complaining. How did he get all those people there? And what I saw was, this man is dealing with everything in the human condition, everything. And in fact, I think the biggest events I went to were in London. There were 10,000 people at those events. I went to 2 of those in London. 10,000 people. That's like a small town in one room. And of course, there are men, women, young, old, even some children, and people of all creeds and backgrounds and beliefs, and right, globally. Tony manages to appeal to the whole human race, and he's dealing with topics like health. I mean, I'm saying it like that because that's enormous. Everything from weight loss and energy and stamina and physique and strength and right, all of that stuff. He's talked about money. I went on a 3-day course in London about money put on by him, and he's talking at all levels about personal happiness. Now, Tony Robbins has taken NLP perhaps to another level, and he now has his own technology which he called NAC, etc., etc. But that's beside the point. He started learning NLP just like you and me, right? And yet he found his way to an extremely high level. In fact, he created a level. He raised the bar, right? So now I'm not saying that we're all going to get there, but I am going to show you what I believe he did. And I've heard him tell this story, so I think that I will have missed some of the details and probably got some of the details wrong. But the essence of the story is, as far as I know, true, and it's how I remember him telling it from the stage when I was at one of his events in America. And this here, by the way, how to 2x your income from NLP in the next 48 hours. Keep watching, because I have something very important to say to you about that. So I'll come to that in a moment or two. Right, so let's move over here. What should we model about Tony? Now, I've only got one branch on this node here, one thing to say to you. And before I open it up, I'm going to tell you now that in all likelihood, and I've coached a lot of NLP practitioners and hypnotherapists and coaches as well, and I think without exception, when I've first shown them this, they say, no, but you don't understand. I don't want to do that because, and I'm going to tell you now, I'll tell you what the because was in a second when I open it up. I was exactly the same. And it's a huge mistake. A huge mistake. Right? So, here we go. Ready? What to model? Solve one problem. Solve one problem. Not everything. See, over here, we've got these enormous markets. Health, wealth, and happiness. And I'm calling them markets. They're topics, I know. But when you try and break into them, I can help you with everything. And as an NLP trained person, or a hypnotherapist, or maybe you have both, You have enormous knowledge, enormous. There's no question we can help people, and I have, and probably you have too, with everything from anxiety to weight loss to addiction problems to personal relationship issues. We know we can help with everything, but that's not how it works. You have to start with one problem. The reason Tony can do all of this and whatever he likes, he can talk business, he can talk about how to write a best-selling book, because he's written several of those. He can talk about anything he likes, right? But he started with one problem, and this is what took me years and years to see, because I wanted to model him. Okay, so here's what he did. Let's close that down. He was 19 years old. He realized that he was pretty good at NLP. He realized that he could do it well. So that's fine. And I guess maybe, the fact that he's 6'7" and looks the way he looks, maybe that gave him some confidence to do what he did. But he didn't even start on TV. He started on the radio, so his appearance wouldn't have made any difference. And what he did was he called radio phone-in shows. And he did that. He phoned radio phone-ins across America and Canada. And his challenge, or his offer to them, was ask therapists to call your show. I'll come and be a guest in your studio. Ask therapists to call your show with their most impossible case, and I will fix them in 10 minutes live on air. And what he got was people phoning in with people with phobias. Now, you and I both know that NLP can fix a phobia in 10 minutes. It's well known now. But back then, it was pretty much unheard of. And it was a spectacular and arrogant claim to say that you could do that. Anyway, he did that on a number of shows, and eventually, as I remember the story, he got himself on a radio show in Canada, somewhere in Canada. Toronto, I think, may have been, can't remember. And a very angry therapist called in. Remember, Tony's 19. And the therapist said, "Who are you, you whippersnapper? I've been a therapist for 40 plus years, and you said you haven't even got a degree." To which Tony said that he replied, "Actually, sir, I do." And the caller said, "Well, you just said on air that you don't. You didn't even go to university." And Tony said, "No, but I've got a degree in results, and I gave it to myself." Right? So he was pretty arrogant about it, I guess. But good for him. He stood his ground. And then he said to the guy, "Listen, sir, let's not argue. You're a scientist, so let's do this scientifically." And the guy agreed. And Tony said, "So who's your most impossible case?" And the guy, the caller, goes, "Mary," or something. And so Tony says, "And what's Mary's problem?" "She's afraid of spiders, and I've been working with her for 12 years. There's no way you can fix her in 10 minutes. So Tony then said, "I'll tell you what." He said, "I'm staying in town, and tomorrow evening I'll be at the such and such a hotel in their conference suite or whatever, some sort of room where you can get a lot of people in. Lecture theatre, I guess. At 7 or 7:30 p.m. Do you think you could come along and bring Mary?" And the guy very angrily says, "Sure, I'll make that happen." Right? And Tony then said, when he was telling the story, he said it was like gunfight at the OK Corral, and that half the town turned out, and he said he had the staff in the hotel running around all day with matchboxes trying to find spiders, right? Anyway, cut to the evening, people, the room is packed. To begin with, this therapist and Mary are not there, and Tony's got quite worried that they weren't going to show up. But anyway, they did show up a few minutes late, and Tony invites Mary up onto the stage, does the NLP phobia fix, and within minutes, of course, this lady's got spiders, I think, I'm not quite sure if a tarantula, but big spiders walking all over her, and the audience is gasping, and the therapist is presumably eating some kind of humble pie. And from there, he graduated to doing that on TV. I remember seeing, there's a very early video, which may still be on YouTube, of him doing that on a TV show with a very small audience, with somebody with a snake, and the lady's got this huge python that's wrapping itself around her. So what's the lesson? What can we model? Okay, so what Tony did was he started with one problem. I can fix, it was phobias is what he was going to fix, right? In 10 minutes. He knew that he could do that. And as I say, he did it with this lady with the spiders. And then I've seen this recording probably from the early 70s, I should think. No, that can't be right. 80s probably, of him doing the same thing with a lady with a snake on TV. Once he got known for that, then people started saying, well, what else can you do? And he branched out from that. People started wanting him to coach them, and he realized he started to get a queue at the door, and so the story builds from there. But so don't resist that. Don't say, but I can do everything. You can, but you can't be all things to all people straight out of the gate. That's the lesson. So I hope that's sunk in. Now, I promised you that I would tell you about how to double your income from NLP in the next 48 hours, and also that doesn't involve you in any more work either. And there's a free training that you can go to. I'll put this link in the description below as well if you're watching this on YouTube. But if you go to that link there, that's my name, trevoremdon.com. So just look at the spelling. It's TREVOREMDON, Echo Mike Delta Oscar November, trevoremdon.com/2x. And there's a free training there. You'll need to register for it, but that's all. It's free. May not be there forever, so I don't know when you'll be watching this video. So I would suggest that you take action fairly quickly. It's based on this principle that I learned from Tony. Eventually learned from Tony. It took me years and years and years to see it. What you've just seen is condensed. So go to that website, trevoremdon.com/2x, and I will take you through in depth a method where you can double your income from NLP. Literally, you can do it in 48 hours. So, thank you for watching. I will see you next time.